Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. If you're just tuning in, you can listen to us on our podcast at Stephen Knight Show or Anchor or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. All right, so Ms. Parker, how was the weekend? How's everything going? Well, before we do that, I have to acknowledge we lost two major civil rights leaders over the weekend, John Lewis and C.T. Vivian. So definitely wanted to send our thoughts, our condolences to their families, and job well done. Thank you for everything you did to contribute to our society. But yeah. So Ms. Parker, I'm sorry. How was your weekend?
No, absolutely. I think that was important that we acknowledge and honor those men. So Thanks for serving your purpose and living your purpose while you were here on earth. You've definitely served us well. So rest well.
Most definitely.
My weekend, it seemed like it goes by so fast. I don't really remember. I took Friday off as a mental health day, as I told you guys last week that I was going to do and needed it. That day went back pretty quickly. I should have taken two. But it was good to have an extra day to just kind of run errands and not have to worry about being glued to the computer and answering emails. So that was good. And then Saturday didn't do much. It was really hot over the weekend. Went to Stone Mountain. And after that, just from being out there, we went in the afternoon. So it was pretty hot. And being out there in the afternoon, I was drained and didn't do anything else after that. And then yesterday was a chill day. So it didn't do much. It was a quiet weekend. But I stopped by your house on Friday on my way to Mike's. And then it was good to see you. So
yeah, good to see you too.
I think it's my second time seeing you since Corona started. And I took my temperature and sent it to him on
sent me a picture of her
in a text because I was not in the mood of him asking me all these questions.
Well, that's good. That's good. Not like a chill weekend. That can be good sometimes. Nair, how was your weekend?
It was good. Like she said, they go by so fast, but it was chill as well for me. I took Sunday off and watched some movies and just kind of hung out with myself on Sunday. Just enjoying my time, man. But it was a good weekend, you know. Nothing crazy happened for me, unfortunately. But it was a chill, easy weekend.
Most definitely. My weekend was very productive but enjoyable. So, you know, most people have been doing different projects around the house as relates to COVID-19. People are at home. I only had one project, and that was to put together this picture frame to put pictures in the frame.
And he swore he did something big. Couldn't wait to show it off.
So I finally did that, and then I did that a few weeks ago. But this weekend alone, I've made up for every project I need to do. I'm in. You see my new background. I'm in my new office.
It looks good too.
Thank you. Which was a closet. It was a huge closet full of storage from when Ms. Parker stayed with me temporarily, with different roommates I've had throughout the years, and.
Everyone had their stuff in there, and when I went up there on Friday, I thought I was going to just say hi and hang out. I get there, he has boxes everywhere, and they're going through it, and two of the boxes are mine, so I had to go through it. And I was just like, oh, really? I didn't come up here to work, but I found some important pictures and grade school stuff that I left over there that I told him to throw out. I told Stephen to throw them out, and baby pictures and things like that I would have definitely missed some. It just happened that I stopped by. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. It was crazy because I was driving home and I saw a truck, you know, for people that would come pick up, you know, trash or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I took a picture of that, and then I came home and I said, all right. So I went to the closet and Miss Parker came over. So it was like a trip down memory lane. Virginia State days not here.
Right.
I have my diploma behind me.
I see it.
Yeah. And things from grade school, high school, college, and beyond. So it was definitely interesting. But I did all that, got my new office set up. I painted in here, shampooed the carpets. What else? I installed a new security system at the house. Just a lot of things I had been wanting to do and hadn't done. So got it all done this weekend. So that was really good. And then I had some friends over, few friends over for food on the grill on Saturday, which was cool. So
sweet.
And Ms. Parker was invited, but she was worn out from this Stone Mountain in the summertime.
You know what? I will never go that late again. Yeah. It's crazy because on Friday when I took off, I decided to sleep in, so I didn't go to my normal boot camp, which is 8:30. So I normally run 2 miles before I do boot camp.
Yeah.
So before boot camp, I ended up going to the 9:45 boot camp. So I ran like at 9:15. And when I got to boot camp, like I was about to pass out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying like, okay, I can't be outdoors doing anything physical, any type of workouts after 8 o'clock. That was like my thing to myself, right?
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I was just so determined to go to Stone Mountain. I didn't care what time. When I got there, it wasn't as packed as it normally is because, you know, us, we do not like being out when it's hot.
Nope.
Normally at Stone Mountain, it is a lot of people there on Saturday. So it wasn't as packed. And I know why. It was like 97 degrees on Saturday. Hot. It was hot.
Yeah.
So I just, after I showered and I lay on the couch, there was no getting up. I literally felt like the liquid in me had been drained out. Mm-hmm. I sweat so much. So I feel like I lost a couple of pounds though. So that was
good. Well, they said that it felt like it was, in the hundreds because of the humidity. So it was extremely hot. I know I was in and out, doing all this. It was hot. It was definitely hot. All right. Well, our question of the day is: are you comfortable with schools opening back up in the fall? Ms. Parker.
I think that's why for me it's so difficult for me to take anything that the officials are saying seriously. They give contradicting health advice and information every single day. It doesn't even make sense to have kids go to school without being vaccinated for supposedly the deadliest virus that happened to us in hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. But you have us vaccinated for things that I've never gotten half the stuff that we was vaccinated for when we were kids to get into school. I've never even heard of anybody getting the measles and all that stuff that we had to take. So you're making people a mandatory vaccination for things that no one ever really gets. But now this is the virus that's supposed to be so deadly and you can breathe and on somebody and they can catch it and all that. Then you have the kids back in school. Not only that, you have some school district saying no school, but the kids can still do activities. Mm-hmm. So they're going to football practice, cheerleading practice, but no school. It's just ridiculous to me. If I was a parent, I would just keep my kids out of everything. We'll stay home, do homeschooling. And I know for all parents, they're not able to. So that's why I'm like, I've literally just given up on the government. I don't follow anything they were telling us about Corona. It's so all disconnected. Nothing makes sense. Nothing is like a logical, follow through that will make sense. If we got to wear a mask in the grocery store, why would you put kids back together? And kids are going to touch each other and play, and it's just ridiculous to me.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah, I don't have any kids, so I don't know for certain if I'd be uncomfortable. I think I would be uncomfortable with putting my kid back into a physical setting or environment, such as the school. Yeah, I probably would be a little uncomfortable with that. And I don't see what the rush is. Just like Ms. Parker said, kids are getting vaccinated for things that ain't nobody had in the last 5,000 years, but let alone, like you said, this new thing, and still the vaccination is, I guess, underway, but I don't see the rush. I think it should be more of an emphasis of opening schools back, but not so much in the physical form. Everybody just needs to kind of, hunker down and figure out how to better navigate this thing digitally until we have a better idea of what's really happening with this virus, COVID, and whatever else may spur from it. So I don't think it's the smartest thing.
It's interesting because in Florida, which is the epicenter for the coronavirus here in the United States, where they're continuing seeing large numbers of people who are being hospitalized and being they're testing positive.
In Florida?
In Florida, yeah. And that governor, he is pushing to open schools. He is now being sued by the largest teacher union in Florida. There have been some teachers that are retiring early because it's not just the kids, it's the teachers too. A lot of them have other underlying health issues. And they're saying now the studies are showing that students between the ages of 10 and 17 can pass on the virus just like an adult. So, it's the fact is in Florida is even hiding their numbers now. They don't have it public where you can see the numbers of where, who's testing positive, who's in the hospital. They used to have that public. Now it's not public. Even with the CDC, the numbers and information was going to them but the Trump administration has now had it go into another organization who reports to the Trump administration. And so the CDC, who is not partisan, you know what I mean? They're not in charge of those numbers. So it is, I agree with Ms. Parker, where the government, you can't really trust them because they're not being honest with us. They're not being honest with us. But tweet us at home, let us know, are you comfortable with schools open back up in the fall? All right, coronavirus update. We're now jumped to 14.5 million cases worldwide with 606,000 deaths. Domestically, we had 3.83 million cases with 140,000 deaths. Florida continues, like I said, to be the epicenter with over 360 cases and over 5,000 deaths. Now, here in Atlanta, Mayor Keisha Lance Bonham, she wanted to enforce a mandate that required everyone to wear masks when you're out in public. But Georgia Governor Kemp signed an executive order against it and now is suing the city of Atlanta. But Mayor Bonham says that Kemp's move was personal retaliation, noting that the governor did not sue the city of Atlanta. He filed suit against himself and her and the city council personally. So he didn't go after the city, he went after her name's on that document, his name's on the document. New York Governor Cuomo, he traveled here to Georgia to trade notes with the mayor of Savannah about best practices in fighting the spread of coronavirus. They've done an amazing job, New York has. They had a public roundtable discussion earlier today. Democratic governor's trip came as New York largely has the coronavirus under control after being hit the hardest in the other state back in March and April, which led to more than 25,000 confirmed COVID-19 deaths statewide. Georgia, meanwhile, has seen COVID-19 infection rates steadily increase, with daily average of 15% tests coming back positive over the past week, according to Johns Hopkins University. Now, New York's rate is only at 1%. Critics, though, say that the trip was nothing more than an ill-conceived public relations stunt, given all the deaths in New York has suffered. With all that, I know Ms. Parker, and we talk about this every week, year, about finding our own ways to stay healthy and manage it. Has anything changed for you, or you just continue to do what you have done? It's obviously we haven't caught it, so been successful. Ms. Parker.
I'm doing what I've been doing, making sure that I'm eating healthy and doing my home remedies, and I'm at Art Garden twice a week doing getting my grass, wheatgrass and ginger and all that stuff shot. So I think I'm just going to continue to do what I do. I know more stores are requiring a mask, and I don't mind. I have it in my purse, and if I have to wear it, I just put it on. So it's not a big deal. I know some people who don't wear it all the time, like myself, prefer not to wear it at all even when they're in stores. But it's not a big deal to me. I'll wear it when I have to. But yeah, like I said, I've always struggled to believe any numbers or anything, because the government is acting, the numbers supposedly are showing one thing, but they're acting like they know something we don't. So.
What about you, Naya?
Yeah, not so much has anything changed. I'm still carrying on my routines. I'm still, I still work out, trying to keep healthy that way. Still try to be very conscious of the things that I'm doing with my hands, and definitely with the mask when I do go out. I usually have that in, and most of the places are requiring that you have it on here. So I'm usually mask in tow and praying, praying that if I do have it, I don't give it to somebody else, and and otherwise I just don't want to get it. I'm just trying to stay vigilant as much as possible, but I don't think I'm doing anything too drastically different.
Yeah, I think I'm doing pretty much the same as I have been doing. I'm back in the gym. This is my 4th week back in the gym, and I'm being very cautious even there.
What's it like What's it like in your gym? How are people? Are they pretty responsible with spraying down? And
for the most part, people are very responsible. I was joking. This one woman, she came and I was on the Stairmaster, and she came to get on the bike. She sprayed that bike down so bad, I thought she tried to wash it.
Right.
But no, but they have the sanitized bottles that you can carry with you if you choose to. But they have them everywhere, and they have most people are wearing masks. I'm seeing more and more people wear masks. A lot, some don't, but most people do. I know for me, what I do is I wear my mask going in. Now they do have the Stairmasters, the ellipticals, and the bikes and all that. They have that socially distanced. So if I'm like on a Stairmaster, which is in the back of the gym, and it's in the corner, I'll take the mask off so I can breathe while I'm doing that workout. But if I'm around a group of people, I'll put a mask on. Because I keep it around my neck. I just, on it off. I bought one for the gym. It was funny because I was leaving the gym on Friday, and this guy, he saw me coming his way. He put that mask on quick. But, people are trying to do what they can, I think. I feel like they are. But, yeah.
A lot of the gyms now, I know a few LA Fitnesses, depending on what area you're in, they're requiring masks inside. It's a requirement. I don't know how that works, but yeah. So a lot of gyms are requiring it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gym requires it. It requires it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Walmart, which is the largest retail store, they're requiring masks because they're sending a message, since the federal government won't do any kind of mandate, that some of these larger stores like Walmart, Kroger, Lowe's, Home Depot, etc., they're all mandating it. They're starting this week in a lot of cases that you have to do it. But I saw one video where this woman, she had like a mom and pop coffee store, and she had a sign up there that said "No mask, no service." And this gentleman came in, and she was telling him, "Have you put your mask on?" And he said, "You don't have to." And she said, "Yes, you do." And he spat on her foot and walked out.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
This was on the news?
This was on, it was on the news. This morning I saw it in the morning news. All right, well, even on the crazier things, while holding his first presidential rally, Kanye West made some disparaging remarks against Harriet Tubman, and people were not here for it. While in South Carolina, speaking at the rally, Kanye stated that Harriet Tubman did not really free slaves. He said Harriet Tubman never actually freed slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people. The crowd let out a sigh in disbelief, and some were reportedly even walked out. Now, this isn't the first time, as we know, Kanye made comments like this. Back in 2018, he stated that slavery was a choice on TMZ, which was met with a lot of resistance. As previously reported, Kanye announced that he was running for president in July. It was later reported that he had dropped out the race because he didn't file the proper paperwork in time. According to New York Magazine, the exclusive report that Kanye West's quest to become the next president of the United States is over before it truly began. An interview with Steve Kramer, who is a get out of the vote specialist running a firm that helps candidates get on the ballot, he confirmed that he had been hired to help Kanye get on the presidential ballot in both Florida and South Carolina. Kramer explained that he's teams working over the weekend in Florida, formalizing the FEC, which is the Federal Election Committee, and other things that, to do what they have to do to get corporate lawyers involved to get him on there. It doesn't appear that to be the case, however, because he has since filed with the FEC. So pretty much Kanye West, he went there. He did not actually take up the South Carolina vote. He didn't get on the ballot because he didn't meet the deadline, which was today at noon. He's running independent on the birthday party. That's where he's running. Miss Parker, did you see
what party?
The birthday party. That's what he's called his. And he said that he wants Jay-Z to be his running mate, but he hadn't talked to him in a very long time. What are your thoughts, Miss Parker?
My friend is a reporter for CNN, Ryan Young, and he posted something on his page that really speaks about how I feel about the whole situation with Kanye. And I've said this for years. The man is severely mentally ill, right? And he happens to have a platform and have money and have people around him that encourages his behavior instead of trying to get him treatment and get him well. So I think the more we repost, talk about, give him more of a platform, it's really just, to me, it's just wasted energy. Kanye West needs help, and he doesn't need a platform to spread any more of his messages. I was actually speaking to Ryan about what he said about Harriet Tubman during this conversation. Mm-hmm. And what he was trying to convey is that when she freed the slaves, that they ended up working for white people anyways. And then somebody posed a question. Was she supposed to, in those days, come up with a business plan? A black, you're free now. Your resources to open your own business and not work. What was she supposed to do with the people that she freed from slavery? How are they supposed to make money and live? But that's not a question you can have with Kanye. That's not a conversation you can have with him because he's not a rational person. Because if he was, he would have thought through what that statement truly meant and how damaging that statement is to everything that this brave woman stands for. So I just don't want to give him any more of my energy or thoughts about it because I just think he needs help. I think he needs help. And he's even stated that he's been diagnosed with several mental health issues. So I think that's really where that lies.
Well, a commenter on the Stephen Knight Show Instagram page said that there's a big difference between working for white people and being enslaved by white people. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing too. Naya, what are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm going to try to quip this. So as far as this particular statement that Kanye West made, what I try to do is I try to put myself in someone's shoes as if I was that person. Would I want to be taken seriously when I speak or when I am sharing thoughts or opinions or what have you? I can't dismiss Kanye or anyone else for that matter in that regard because I don't know Kanye West. And actually, personally, to the last thing that Ms. Parker just said about him making the statement about his diagnosis, I actually have never heard this. I've heard people diagnose him publicly.
I think he is bipolar.
He had an episode and then he ended up in the hospital at one point.
Right. So
when he had a meltdown.
And he didn't want to take his meds,
Yeah, I've never heard him say this other than his album, which I thought was a play on what everybody else was saying about him. I've never heard him or his wife say this. That's neither here nor there. That's not my business, his personal or mental issues. What I can say is this. I can't dismiss him. Kanye West is a billionaire. I'm not a billionaire. Kanye West has a platform. I'm nowhere even on the radar of what kind of platform he has. And I'm not saying those are things that make someone more valuable or otherwise. I'm saying there is probably a great deal of things that I don't know about Kanye West and his surrounding situation. The other thing about his comment, I tuned in to that particular video clip that is on the web and I listened to that comment. Here's my thing about hearing that comment. I don't love or not love anything that Kanye does. What I'm saying is this. We have a snapshot of a comment that comes from someone who I don't believe is the best at articulating his thoughts through dialogue, through conversation, maybe through music and otherwise in art, maybe. But I don't think he's good at articulating. Can I draw out a meaning from what he's saying? Absolutely. I can understand what he may have been trying to say. And I don't think he's speaking about the term literally. I think he's speaking along the lines of more philosophically as what a slave is. Did she free slaves? There is even someone who made a video about it saying, technically, she did not free slaves. Some guy did this. He did not free slaves, but he did. But what he's saying is incorrect. And they pointed out some other reasons why that statement may be incorrect in their eyes. I think I understand what he was trying to say. I think he was speaking more toward the mentality, just like his idea of when he said slavery is a choice. I don't think he was speaking technically to that idea. I think he was speaking more philosophically. I just don't think Kanye West has the ability to articulate his ideas as precisely as most people, as a lot of other people can. What do I think about that? You take it for what it's worth and you move on with your day and your life. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm not hung up on anything that Kanye West or anybody says. I could care, really less about what someone else says that doesn't necessarily affect my day-to-day life or my personal family. So it's just one of those things for me, man. I'll talk about it as long as people are asking me about it, but it's not that big of a deal for me. Not for me.
I think so, which I don't think Kanye's going to win president, but, when Donald Trump ran, everyone thought it was a joke. I think he was shocked when he won. And so because he does have that platform, I do think his words really do matter. There was a young lady who was at the rally last night, and there's a video of Kanye West going off on her. And so she made a video saying, hey, I was a woman, at the rally or whatnot. And she said that he had invited several people to come on or to ask questions. And she was the last one to ask a question. She was asking about gun reform. And he never answered the question. And then he started spewing facts that weren't true. So she was saying, she was going back and forth with him, and that which caused him to snap. But she said he had done it to a white woman just before that, and he gave her a hug and welcomed her on stage. And then he called her a sister soldier in the audience, which she took offense to. I mean, I just think that someone made a video.
That's still somebody's account that has to be taken, contextually. We don't really know, especially we don't know the context that he was speaking to her in versus the context he was speaking to the white girl in versus the context he made that statement of Harriet Tubman in. It's just sensationalized around that one thing. And I'm not defending this guy. I'm defending the fact that any one of us could be in a position like this which it happens all the time, where people's thoughts are captured when they sound the worst and then shared with the world, when then you have to go back and say, that's not what I was saying, but.
Well, him walking around with MAGA hat on and supporting Trump for all these years and now saying that he doesn't support him. I mean, he just has a history for me of doing this. Again, I do agree he has a hard time articulating his thoughts. I see that, but I just think that he needs to sit down and get the help he needs, really, because he has a big following, a huge following, and the things he says, people pick up on that and believe that. I was looking on Instagram, people defending his comments. You know what I mean? It's like that's I think it can be a dangerous situation.
I get it, and I hate to keep going. Yes, I think it can be dangerous, but when you speaking philosophically, when somebody's speaking philosophically and they can't articulate well, I don't see the danger in making a statement that you truly believe in, even if it's philosophical. And it sounds not true if you listen to it on the surface. But if you examine it and really look into what he may be trying to say, knowing this guy's history, I believe that it could actually help people to learn more about whatever it is they're seeking.
So do you feel the same way about the statements because we've had these conversations surrounding statements that Trump has made, and I've never heard you defend his statement in this way, because then his statements, his racism, his really hurtful and harmful statements that is regressive, right? That I've never heard you defend or maybe try to understand. Can that be put in the same context as you're saying with Kanye?
Absolutely. And I would challenge you to look back on conversations that I've had about Donald Trump. It's not that I'm defending these statements. I'm defending the idea that it could be me or you or Steven saying things that you believe in, whether they sound good or not. And Donald Trump, there's a different speak when you come out speaking what some people say is hate speech. If that is easily detected, then that's something that I'm going to listen to and take for what it's worth. Now, I remember my mentor actually years ago, me and my mentor had I remember I was watching this program on TV, and it had these political leaders from around the world on this panel. And soon as my mentor came in and saw me watching this, he said, "What are you watching that for? That guy's a murderer." And I'm not going to say who he was talking about. And I said, that doesn't mean I can't listen to what he's got to say. He's sitting up there next to someone I look up to highly. There's a reason that guy who I look up to highly is sitting next to him in conversation with this guy who you're saying is a murderer. I need to hear. I need to be able to see what I can learn or get from it, take it for what it's worth. I don't defend any other person aside from myself. I can't. I defend what I believe is a good social clause and understanding, being able to give someone the just not being dismissive is what I mean. So whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Kanye West, or whether it's Kim Kardashian, or whoever you can name, I'm not necessarily defending them. I can't defend them. It's just the idea that sometimes people, we don't say the right things all the time, and they don't always sound right, but we may mean them differently.
Well, D.L. Hughley said it best. He said Kanye West and Trump are the same person. They're both narcissistic, and I've seen both of their wives naked.
Mm-hmm. That's
let's,
facts.
let's take a quick break. Come back with a few more hot topics right back after this.